Hello. I do not know what's going on. Okay. I think I might be live. I cannot tell. Something has happened. I am having issues. Hello. Is everybody hearing me? People hearing me? Randy's trying to run this thing and he screwed it up. So, folks, if you could give me a nod, I would say, yeah, did it all screwy. All right. There's Blackwall. Okay, good. We're waiting on Joe. So I kind of jacked it up, but we're going to add Blackwall in here.
Well, don't worry. It wasn't you. It was the internet.
The internet, huh? Okay.
Yep. At least on my end, my laptop informed me that the internet crapped out, so I switched to a hard line.
Gotcha. Well, hey, guys, welcome to Biggest Geekus. This is Friday, May 31st. Normally, we would have a live play, but unfortunately, today, we don't have enough players, so we're going to do some crafting. Today, we're going to talk about some rules crafting. Joe will join us shortly, but right now, I have DM Blackwall from Horde Wars and Blackwall Games. Welcome, brother.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me quick switch this over so I can see if there's any comments. All right, good.
Can you see them? Yeah, good deal.
I can indeed. Now we're going to try the thing that we got to crash the stream last time and see if we can do it now.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Testing 1, 2.
Indeed. So
Okay.
we're going to try. Yep. Don't help me, computer. We're going to try. So in theory, I'm now sharing it and I can see it at the bottom there.
I can too.
And then you just got it there.
There we go. Excellent. Look at me. I'm like a professional.
Indeed.
Except not really.
Well, and it didn't crash this time. So
I know.
We're winning, really.
We're winning. That's called victory.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah. So let me get to the right section. Here we go.
So tonight, are we going to do what you talked about before? Uh-oh. The man, the myth, the legend showing up. He's getting himself ready. Joe is about to arrive.
Excellent.
Drum roll, please. What's up, brother?
Yo.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, okay, now, since it is hello to you and everybody out there, how do you hear me?
Perfectly.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. So now that I'm here, we've only been on only 3 minutes, so start over.
Well, I kind of jacked it up, I think. I didn't. Do I have to do we need to talk. I got to learn how to do the music and all that. I didn't do any music.
It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It wasn't our normal live stream, so if abnormal things happen, then abnormal things happen.
Joe's a wise man. He let me start on a non-normal stream. That's good.
Arnie is correct. Mr. Wizard's repository has arrived. I made that artifact with you in mind, Joe.
Perfect.
Yes. Is that is the what again?
It's in advanced, and it is basically a tome that inside of it has an extra dimensional storage space that can hold like a dozen scrolls.
All right.
That's perfect.
That sounds great.
That is
and
perfect.
Actually, a dozen scrolls is probably the sweet spot for having a little extra scrolls. Probably don't need too many more than that.
I say it's too sweet.
You could use them certainly, but 12 is really good.
Yeah. Oh, and it also will hold. It'll hold scrolls. It'll also hold rods, which are kind of meta magic items that you can get in advanced.
Gotcha.
So it lets you haul a whole bunch of stuff with very little weight, which is the kind of thing that you want.
Yes, it is. Extra dimensional space. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll be sure to modify that when I run my game to be 2 scrolls.
Yes, you will. It holds 1.
An extra small.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, Joe loves it.
Let me quick get to my microphone. No.
Oh, that is that an orc or is that a dragon?
Oh, so we're looking at a couple basically blanks for dragons. Now we can zoom in a bit more on my end. But if you guys control it on your end, that's even better.
I don't seem to have control of it. Joe might know how to do that.
I can't. No, okay, whose file is this? Okay, DM Blackwall looks like he is the one sharing, so he needs to zoom it.
Okay, he did.
Well, I can zoom. Yeah, I can zoom that way.
Zoom.
Boom.
It would be
cool.
I guess you can't control that part.
Dark off King's
Bane. The height of the shared document doesn't give a big window there.
Right. I don't control that. That you guys.
Okay. Let me
guys have that.
Well, maybe.
You mean try we push the full screen layout or take that off?
Oh, actually.
Oh, look at that. How's that?
That works better.
All right.
So what we're looking at here is Nate and I were doing, as Randy and I were just discussing, about 19 paragraphs more of like setting content writing. We got 9.5 of them done today.
Wow.
And we're going to try and get the rest tomorrow. Actually, we're going to try and knock it out.
I was telling DM Blackwall that I didn't. Watching how hard he has to work to get his stuff done does not motivate me to make a role-playing game.
So Dargoth Kingsbane is on a separate page, and these two are blanks. So just to give you a sense, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and he's right here.
Oh, okay.
And there's a whole half a page or so for artwork up there.
Gotcha.
For spacing. These two are side by side, and the plan is to use essentially his statistics as a model for 2 more dragons.
Okay.
Because as Nate and I were writing our setting material, we were like, you know what? It'd be really nice if we had another high-end dragon. And then we did a little bit of financial math and went, essentially every named dragon costs us about $100 in artwork.
Okay.
So you know what would be better? 2 dragons that fill a page and then no artwork for them.
Well, yeah, it's a big dragon. I don't think you necessarily need another dragon picture because you probably already have 1 or 2.
I think we're going to have like 4 to 6 artworks for the dragons. So we don't want to add another.
No, you don't
expense
need that.
wise.
I've got one that could help save you artwork for sure. Right off, I just thought of it.
What's that?
What about a spectral dragon? When you seriously,
it's a dragon specter. There's no artwork because you can't see it anyway.
You can't see it, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Now, see, that could work. So what I'm going to do...
Okay, hold on. Randy?
Yep.
On behalf of all future and present players of Horde Wars, if this gets made a thing, you get a nut punch from all of us.
Let's do it.
Be a line.
Make
I mean,
this
a
guy
dragon,
a
an undead dragon.
Welcome to the nut punch. I hear you.
Right on.
Undead invisible dragon.
Right.
Sounds
doesn't go
pretty perfect,
attack.
Really.
Sounds good. I'm down with that.
What is solar immunity? What is solar different from fire?
It's light-based damage, and so obviously if you were exposed to light enough, you would get burned, but it's not the same thing as a burn from fire.
Okay.
Just like sunburn isn't the same thing as if I, put a lighter to my arm.
Alrighty.
But that's basically the thinking there.
All right.
Also, we use it for like holy damage.
Okay.
And it's opposite. Umbral.
Light is umbral. Light is the energy of the good gods. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Holy.
So, question is, and Nate's suggestion was, we got 2 dragons to build, right? So I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Let's see, 150%. I think that'll. Yeah. So he and I were basically just thinking about the elemental qualities and senses, but otherwise they're waiting to be built. All this yellow stuff is just copy and paste from Dargoth that needs to be changed for these new dragons.
So
Okay.
Dargoth looks like fire-based dude. So
this one would be immune to fire and solar, and essentially be so hot that he would burn you if you're next to him.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, why don't we work on spectral, like Randy suggested?
So if we do that, let's have a look. By spectral, Randy,
Yes.
do you mean that it can like walk through walls?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. It would be very like incorporeal to use 3rd edition rules.
Right.
Yeah.
So one way to do that is now. Do we want? Yeah, we'll see. One way to do that is like this.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that'd be a good power. Especially if you want to make him just, if that spectral is not truly undead, that's pretty cool. He could be an illusionary. He could be a dragon who mastered some illusionary magic. Yeah, that's not bad.
Sure. Yeah, that's better. Not undead.
I've got another one though. Another dragon idea. Go ahead though.
All right. But then the question is this ability, Mirage, do we get rid of Armored Hide, or does he have both? Because that would make this dragon quite difficult to harm.
I think it'd be interesting if the dragon didn't have it, that he relied on deception and trickery more than straight up, you can't hurt me because I'm a total BA.
Okay.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. A dragon, I mean, I would make him highly intelligent. I would make him very crafty. Maybe he could have something like, you guys have like a haste type ability, right? There's haste, exactly haste. Could he have something that could speed him up? That would, because I feel like Mirage
I think so, yeah. I think we have something that would work like that. What I was going to look and see is if you liked, where is it?
Well, that's kind of like Blood Rage, the haste thing. You get extra stuff.
Oh, does it?
Well, yeah, it's not an extra attack. It's extra damage. But
so one other option over the Mirage and Armored Hide effects would be
Enclosure.
This is a copy and paste from something else, but it will get you the idea.
Yeah.
So
that does make good sense for a dragon anyway, that particular type.
Right.
Because of ranged attacks, it's kind of thematic for them to just bounce off of most dragons anyway.
Yeah. I think it'd be kind of fun if this guy... let's see here. I'm going to take a little peek at something real quick.
So we could do something like that.
Yeah.
Your whatever we call this ability on the dragon, because the ability was from something else. But your whatever hide absorbs the damage from each ranged weapons attack that would damage you.
Iron Man asked, would that make him immune to Black Arrow? Is that a something that I don't recognize?
Black Arrow, you have to hurt him. Yeah.
Okay.
Black Bolt, he means, or
Black
a
Bolt.
Black Arrow.
Right.
So that's a constant one all the time, not just the first.
Yeah. I think we can just keep this text, but we should name it something else because this is obviously not an enclosed armor. But if you like that, I think this over Mirage might make more sense.
Maybe he's the dragon is blinking like another wizard ability. You know, he's not. It's kind. I guess it's kind of like Mirage in a displacement. So we don't want two of them.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Randy?
Well, I'm trying to. Are we looking to? Okay, I need a clarification. So, what are we trying to? Are you
Right
asking?
now, we're trying to design 2 side-by-side dragons. We
Mhm.
want to name them. We want to give them hit points. We want to adjust their speeds because they like one could be aquatic, for example. We want to design their various maneuvers. We want to design their special abilities. And in this case, we're talking about a dragon with light capability, light and fire abilities. And so, do you like Mirage versus this enclosure effect, which we should probably rename for him because we currently don't have it on a monster, so it needs a name. Versus Armored Hide. I actually kind of like replacing Armored Hide with this, but we could do it on the other dragon instead, who is going to be Cold and Shadow, Cold and Umbral.
Oh, okay. I like them together. Actually, I would. Are you talking about getting rid of Mirage and using Enclosure to replace Armored Hide?
Yes, but we could. But you mean you like this?
See, I'm thinking, and it's up to you, but I'm thinking this guy's not going to be the buffest dragon on the planet. I don't know if you want to adjust hit points or because of your wherever you're putting him at, you want him to be the same amount of damage output and how much he can soak. But I was thinking this guy's going to be like a super crafty dude and hard to keep. Like I'm throwing his name now. I'm really thinking more of flavor right now, but let's see here. I like them both, but that is pretty good. That's really good. First attack misses, and they could overlap because the first attack could be a ranged attack. So,
right.
But each range, ooh, that's really good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Is Blood Rage something you think is a default dragon power?
Oh, no. So if you look in basic, you're going to see, if I scroll up a ways, you're going to see Torvak the Earthshaker. You'll see Arnador the Wintergale, Corvash the Nightfire. And they each have a different way to deal extra damage, like Prey Caesar or Ambusher, or in Torvak's case, Blood Rage. And so Blood Rage just happened to be what was on the original Dargoth stat block. These two should have something else, but a way to get extra damage that kind of expresses that tells you how they fight. Ooh, Tom, that is a cool idea. Glittering Hide for the trait.
Oh, okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I like that. Well done, Thomas.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So let's do Glittering Hide here. We'll have to. I'm not sure if we should do that with Mirage, because if the players don't read ahead, this could really hose them.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, because yeah. Randy loves the hose job.
I have no issues with that. Tough
Randy's
luck.
like, perfect.
That's exactly what I was hoping for.
So
and it's not that big of a deal if you have. There's always some sort of enemy that has that is impossible or really hard to hit with either melee or ranged or magic. So having a really tough monster that you have to go and roll up right in their face to get for them to be damaged, that's fine.
Yeah. But remember, he punishes you for being in his face.
Yeah. Oh well. Adventuring is hard.
Adventuring is hard. All right, so I like that. I think this Glittering Hide thing could work great. I think that'll be a standout feature. So we'll ignore this stuff, but we need the other component of Randy's idea, which was we want this guy to be able to move through solid objects, right?
Yes.
So we're going to go down here to the Volcanic Ash ability, and we're going to replace it. And let me double check here. We want to adjust our border a little. And then I think that'll do it. So let me quick get rid of this extra space. And then pull off Mirage for now. I think Glittering Hide's pretty good.
Okay.
There we go. All right. So phase shift, just so we can all read that. Are you guys able to see that on the screen okay?
I can see it. When I enlarge it for sure. Yeah. Yep.
What do you think of this ability?
Well, it's exactly what Randy's talking about.
That sounds
The good thing is, depending on how actually physically big this dragon is, I mean,
That can limit it.
That can limit it because he can stand next to a house and go right through it, but he's as big as the house. So what is the advantage to this dude?
Right.
Necessarily. Now, if we're saying that he can stand outside of the house and reach in with one of his claws and pluck somebody out, that's not what this says.
No. This is a special action to let him phase through an object.
Yeah. So if it's movement only, then it's going to be limited to places where movement is worthwhile.
Yeah, but like room to room in his own cave.
Oh, sure.
Like this could be brutal. Like if you're trying to chase him down.
Yep.
Yeah. What if he designs his domain to not have hallways?
Oh yeah, yeah. It could just be a bunch of isolated rooms.
Sure.
And he doesn't care. It's fine. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we're going to give him phase shift. Now, the reason I saw the comment suggesting the fire aura, the reason I actually don't want to do that is I want to give him a solar breath. What do you guys think of that idea?
That could. I was just looking up. Where would I find in the book? I'm sorry, the different energy types that you would use again. I'm trying to make sure.
Oh, sure. So you would go to. Let me quick pull up basics so I can give you the page number.
So I'm in probably just before monsters, maybe.
Oh no, it'll be in the front. It'll be under game rules.
Okay.
Yeah, in the first chapter, damage types, which is on page 8, as written.
Okay. Okay. Cool fire light.
But what do you think of the that breath idea, Joe?
Sure, you can make it like a plasma beam. So depending on how you want it to be, it would be more thematic for it to be a beam rather than a cone or something like that.
And I was thinking Sonic because the guy moves and shifts, and I was hoping we could give him an illusionary power. I don't know. It just somehow I was thinking he would do Sonic damage, but.
Well, we do have a dragon like that also.
Oh, okay. So you need something that has solar here. Then is what you're really looking for.
No, we could do other stuff, but I'm just letting you know that we don't currently have that, and it would be interesting.
I'm with you. Okay.
Because
he could also use. He could do if there's a way for him to have light tricks. I'm just trying to connect his breath weapon to somehow. Because here's my thought: maybe he moved. Maybe when he moves, he gives off some sort of like scintillating color stream, so that you can kind of watch him for a moment, and you see him move, and maybe he like shimmers as he moves, and so he is light based, and then you could have the solar. I just like to have something about his physical description that would clue you in, that you wouldn't be shocked as why is he breathing solar.
Right.
And so I'm just trying to think if this guy is. I don't want him to be like a rainbow dragon, but I'm like, what if he had like, how sometimes you can see like in an oil spill, if the light hits it right, you can see sort of a rainbow color, really light. What if he had something that whenever he moved really fast, like I would like him to have some sort of speed thing that he gives off. Maybe the way he moves is through light manipulation. That's why you can't see him. Maybe he's not a incorporeal creature. He bends light. His body bends light. So he can, but sometimes you can sort of see an outline of him for a second, especially when he phase shifts or something. I don't know.
So it sounds to me almost like you would rather, instead of a phase shift type ability, you really do want him to go invisible. Now, I'm not opposed to that, but I don't think he should be able to be invisible and phase through walls.
No, and I want to stick with the phase part. I'm just trying to. I think I can give up the invisible part. I just kind of want to see. I guess I'm trying to envision why he would have solar other than we're just giving it to him. See what I'm saying?
I think the glittering hide gives.
There you go. Okay, I wasn't thinking about that. Fair.
Like this is a shining visual clue.
Yes. There you go.
And we may be able to do that with some of his other traits.
Sure.
But just looking at the breath itself,
Yes.
Now in general, I've been doing dragon breath as cones. We originally did them as lines in our first design.
Mm-hmm.
But we thought, and they're often narrow cones. Like most dragons, it's a 45-degree cone. It's only the very big ones that actually hit 90 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So like here's a mid-sized dragon with 45-degree cone.
Right.
I think, I don't know. Do you guys want to like to stick with the cone in the sense that it's a dragon?
Well, I get that having it as a line would likely make the dragon's breath affect less targets and deal less damage overall. But I was only saying that it being light based, it's kind of thematic for it to be a line, but it doesn't have to be.
Right. Because we could do it, but if we did, we want to push out the range, I think.
Correct. It would be long. But you could also, the description of it could be so, when you're describing what the people are seeing, it could be multiple beams throughout that pulsate throughout the cone. It doesn't necessarily need to be a solid thing.
True.
So it could always be like, hey, he opens his breath and 50 million beams of light come out and poke holes in everyone. Sorry about your luck.
Fair. That's fair. Now, our next main task, assuming that we are comfortable with, like most dragons, him being able to roar and be scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that he has claws.
Right.
Our next thing to look at probably is kind of his meta breath ability. So Dargoth, the actual dragon, the one that we've got ready to go for advanced, and these are ones that we're working on right now for advanced. Nate and I thought this would be really fun for the stream. We decided this like 3 hours ago. One of the main things for the dragon is this that makes them unique is their kind of, what else can I do with my maneuver other than bite you?
Right.
What about blinding? They're light based.
I do like that.
Yep.
I think I have,
and that melds well with his desire to be deceptive, so you can't see him move around and do stuff, or phase. If he could blind you and then phase away, he'll be pretty hard to get a hand on.
Oh yeah, for sure. Maybe. All right, so I have probably the beginning of the text. This will mess things up a little, but let's try pasting it. Paste without formatting. Okay, so we get rid of that. Probably.
Go ahead.
Just gonna call it something else. Yeah.
Blinding breath.
That's what I was thinking. That seems pretty easy to, blinding breath. Or dazzling breath.
Yeah. And then we want to go for one of the other single damage guys. So we want this text. And we want to go down here and go, when you do solar damage to a creature, you may use blinding breath to blind him for the next. Do we like D4 rounds, or?
I think that's good. I mean, I don't, unless you think it should be
pretty much would tank anybody in a tough combat.
I'm thinking he's using that to get the heck out of dodge. That's what I think. I feel like if I was playing him, he would do that and then phase shift somewhere. But he can
that makes sense.
because again, I don't know if you want to, but I don't see him as he's not a bruiser dragon. He's not looking to mix it up.
Yeah. I don't know that I need to remind them what the blindness does, maybe.
Okay, so I don't know. I think we talked about this before. It's referring to having text in the book refer to other text in the book. You're not a big fan of that.
I am not a big fan of that. I would ideally like to fit it here if we can figure out a way.
Unless you edit some of the other text to make it more concise, which is, I don't know if that's possible. You already have pretty concise text in your books. So
thank you. I'm going to quick look and see if we can find another. Here's an example of how I did it before. And we're just going to jump back up here and see if that example will help us.
Both 3 lines.
Well, it is, but it's a smaller text because it's reminder text.
Okay.
Which could matter. All right. Now we got to play around with some other stuff. So, nope. Well, we'll worry about the spacing in a minute, but I think that we're on the right track. I'm going to quick play around with this. Now, if you guys would, think about how this thing should be dealing more damage. Because that's the big next thing that would matter. Like, how does he fight? And you can see in basic essentially all of the traits we would be looking at in the beasts and in the monster sections for ways to do it.
Well, when you are attacking a blind creature, you deal blah, 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 extra damage. I mean, that makes sense with the way
just make him really mean to that guy. Be like, you blinded him, and now you're screwed.
Yeah. I mean, that's one option. You're mute, Randy.
Whenever you attack a blinded creature, do you get advantage in the game?
You would. You'd have a bonus to hit.
So you get bonus to hit and damage.
Yep, that'd be a way to do it. Extra damage when someone's then he might, but he might use that blinding breath then more in combat, which might be what you want. I mean, you could.
But actually, it gives him 2 options.
It does,
right?
Yeah.
If he's not too scared of what's fighting him, he can do the blinding breath and get some extra damage on a target. And
what might be cool though? Let's see if we have. This might be cool also. We've got it on one dragon. Because the other option for overwhelming the light, I think, would be something like that.
Yes, you definitely could stun them.
Yeah. Sure.
What do you think? As a debuff?
That's like a dazzle. That's like a dazzle as well.
Yeah.
You think that's superior to blinding?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, they don't get to do anything.
Stunning also gives you a chance to get away. So
it does.
Yeah.
It does. I think it's better as far as making this guy a real threat to the party. Because the blind guy could still possibly do stuff that matters. He could do things that don't involve attack rolls.
Right.
He could just roll really well. He could have a blessed weapon, which would essentially negate the penalties of blindness. Whereas you just don't get an action. No, that will make sure someone's out of the fight to some degree.
Yes.
So extra damage. What do you guys think? Other than just being mean to the guy who can't do anything.
Right.
So a few examples of this, of these kinds of traits, would be things like flanker. You get a bonus if you and some of your buddies are next to him. bonus damage. Blood Rage, like it shows you on the screen. You could also have Prey Seizer. You deal an extra die of damage against creatures that have moved since the end of your last turn. You could do Frenzy. You do an extra die of damage against creatures that are below their maximum hit points.
Can we do a variant of Frenzy where if they're below maximum hit points, his celerity allows him to like do more damage? I mean, he's really quick and he gets under your guard. Because again, I'm picturing him as a fast dragon, right? He moves quickly.
Right.
But I don't know if you want to add that to him or if that's something you have. Do you have a way that he could use? His speed could describe why he gets so much, why he gets the extra damage. If someone has been, if you're below your maximum hit points, I don't know. That'd be just like Blood Rage, changing the name.
Maybe this dragon is more of a Chinese dragon.
Right. I'm thinking him.
But I know your dragons are all European based. They're all big and beefy, not sinewy and.
I was going to suggest he was like the classic gold in the AD&D books.
Yeah, I think that sounds good to me.
And he could be.
What about this trait?
Oh,
magma creature.
No. Trample.
Oh,
could we? I guess I like it, but I guess you're not wanting to use a different. I wouldn't mind it being something different where he. If he has enough space to operate, he moves so quickly around you, like he makes your head spin, and and he gets that extra damage because he gets under your guard. It's very hard to keep him from getting an easy shot on you.
Speed of light.
Yeah. Is there a word? Celerity means
speed.
Celerity means speed. Can you describe someone as being celerous?
No,
I don't think that's
celery
like.
light.
Just call it light speed.
Yeah.
Martinson, we do in fact have a dragon who does that. That is a really cool ability.
Depends on who you're talking to.
For the dragon. Cool for the dragon, less so for the target. But that one is the Queen of Dragons, who has basically two different compulsion effects on her. But for this one, if you guys are thinking about him moving around a lot and kind of guiding the party, Trample combined with Phase Shift, I think would incentivize that kind of behavior.
Right.
For example,
you're mute again, Randy.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. Together, I could see how they could work together. I just wonder if it'd be better for someone reading it if you describe Trample a little bit differently for this guy.
Any suggestions?
Well, like I said, speed of light. He moves.
No. The text below it. Because if it's literally the same words, we should use the same keywords, so it's easy for the game master to run the game.
This dragon's celerity is such that when he has enough space, he can use ample space to his advantage to get opportune attacks or something. Is this flavor text or is this like mechanical?
No, this is a trait. We're working on rules text.
Okay, rules text, all right.
And so we do occasionally make like unique or boutique abilities for the creatures, but it tends to be because of something very specific to them. I need to quick scroll a moment and I can find you an example. So there's giants, ghosts, keep going. Fiends, keep going. Fae, here we go. So this is an example. I'll just quick move it up where we're working. Here is an example above Trample of a unique trait that we wrote for a specific monster.
Oh, okay.
And that's because of that monster's nature.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we could totally write one for this dude, but it needs to be actually unique. Like there has to be a thing. For example, if we wanted to, with his stunning breath, if we wanted to Actually, he could punish you for running away.
Sure.
Each opponent within short range save or run away. This guy could, let me check. He could do what Umbara, Queen of Dragons, does and just go Prey Caesar. That's an option.
Oh, okay. When you said it before, I thought it was 2 words, as in Prey and Caesar.
Oh,
what does that have to do with anything? Prey Caesar. Okay, got it.
Praise
So, like, that'd be a cool thing. But I don't know. We just need to find a way to either have this thing or the player's behavior generate an extra die of damage. And ideally, we need to do it in 3 lines of text, including the heading. And it's awesome if it's something unique.
Okay, so he bends light, right?
Sure.
So you could say, well, I don't know how you think about him being able to occupy more than the normal amount of spaces. So you, with that, instead of it being charging, it's that the characters move more than X amount of space adjacent or within a certain amount of space to his primary location on the map, or conceptually. His light bending places a part of him next to the other character and is able to attack with its tail or claw or something like that.
What about something where he makes popping sounds and light flashes all around, flare, I'm thinking like a teleport attack, where it's like he teleports all around, everybody goes bam, 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 if he's got a certain condition. That's part of a speed thing. I don't know if that's
You're still looking for extra damage, not brand new.
Right, that's what he thought.
Not a brand new ability, because what we should do with a brand new ability is go right over to his mirror over here, because we'll be looking at that as well.
Yeah.
Right. So with his extra,
I think phase shift is really good. If you guys would prefer, like, space, because remember, we're also constrained by the space.
Yes.
If you guys would prefer, we could do, let me find an example. Edit, find and replace, extra action. We could do this ability. If we just want to make him fast and not worry about the wall thing, we could do oops, wrong font. Something like this. The problem is dragons already have multiple actions.
Right.
So it would make him quite brutal.
Let's see here. Wow.
When the solar dragon is under the light of the full sun, he does extra damage all the time.
You know, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Now, how he's going to do that underground in a layers, unless he has a layer that the caverns or whatever the pockets in it, like we were talking about, are exposed to the sun. That would be something interesting, like a volcanic, dead volcano.
Yeah, like the caldera.
Yeah.
So we're thinking maybe just not spiritual. That's pretty mean.
I like it. I like it.
But if you do your research, you attack him at night.
Oh, of course. What do we call the ability? I don't know.
Hold on a second. My newest
Oh,
doggy
going
is
crazy.
jealous. Oh, I would need to mute that. He's very.
What do you think, Randy?
You're doing extra dive damage during the day. Dawnbloods, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's a good name. Dawnblooded, yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, if we
That'd
like that, let's put this here. We'll put Dawn-Blooded right by his fire aura, which probably means he's never really in the dark. It's just dark enough he's not getting the extra damage.
Right.
If he's burning everything around him.
Right.
All right. And then do we like a magma creature on this fella, or do we want some other trait?
Sounds more like he's a light creature.
He can breathe through his eyes.
That's what would be the point?
I know.
So, because
Well,
this is, you know, he's
he can
got
see.
fire
long
and
as-
light.
As long as he can see, he can breathe. I don't know. That's weird. Odd senses. Are you gonna fire aura? Don't you want him to be like? Should he have a solar aura, or is that not?
So the reason that the upper level dragons diverge. So if we go to like, this will be, you'll find this one in basic. So if we go to Torvak the Earthshaker, you'll see that he has immunity to sonic, protection from acid, and he's got a thunder aura, and he's got this thunder breath. He does sonic damage all the way. One of the things that sets apart the more advanced dragons when you get to the 600 hit point bracket is they're immune to 2 damage types and also deal 2 damage types. So this guy's got a toxic aura and a fire breath, which makes him much harder to fight, not just on a hit point basis, but in his ability to project damage on the party.
What if his light is a revealing light that where he can always see whatever's around him? Like he's immune to invisibility and illusions and stuff like that. That's what his that magma creature is a placeholder for some kind of senses or special.
Oh, interesting.
Thing like that. I don't know if are dragons already immune to invisibility.
How about the light of truth? He can always see the truth of things.
Well, we could give him. Let me find the trait. We could give him this.
Right. That's precisely what I was thinking. It doesn't negate a changed creature's abilities. It just lets them see things.
Correct.
Sputnik almost caught a squirrel.
It does, of course, mean that he knows their shape changed.
Right.
What do you like that, Randy?
I do.
This kind of revealing.
Yep.
Vision.
It makes him very hard to surprise, which is what he would want to be able to do because he's going to be looking a lot of times to me, I think, to always gain the advantage. So he's not just going to be like someone surprises him. Hey, let's fight. And he'd be like, hey, let's don't.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So let's unhighlight the word trait there. And if we like this, the phasing ability, the solar breath, the roar, the ability to stun you, see through illusion and invisibility to identify a shape change creature's true form, the glittering hide effect with the fire aura and the dawn blooded. I think that's a lot of fun.
I do too.
Yeah. Sparkly dragon.
And then what I think we should do then is so we'll want to play around with their speeds and stuff, but let's look at this other one first before we name them.
Okay.
Naming usually takes a bit.
Yeah, sure.
I think here we simply go.
Oh, yeah.
And then we just jump over during the night.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very nasty but simple way to express a similar effect.
Right.
Now, Nate suggested that this other one be aquatic.
Okay.
So if we want to do that, I'm going to grab a little bit of rules text from this fella. And then we'll have to make sure we give him a swim speed. So he's amphibious in that he can breathe underwater as well as in the air. So he's not like choking to death just by being exposed to air. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
He's not aquatic, he's amphibious. Right.
Yeah. I think flying is still his dominant. Actually, how do we do the other one? Was the other one dominant swimming? You guys have it in basic. You would know. Yeah, flying is still dominant. Okay.
Well, that's what dragons are known for. So
Right.
Yeah.
So fly at 10, swim at 8.
Sounds good.
Sure. Because the swim speed should be pretty good too.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's blown players out of the water as far as the swim speed goes.
Right.
He can't swim quite as fast as the fastest ships.
Right.
Except he can fly that fast, and he also has 2 actions, so he really could. He just has to burn an action.
Gotcha.
Right.
Like, oh, I got to try and catch you now. Okay.
Or he can disable it slightly, and then their speed might go down, and then he can not sacrifice an action. So.
Yeah, knock out a mast. This kind of thing. Nate's other suggestion for this guy, other than the general protection array, was that we give this one echolocation.
Oh, sure.
Darkness.
I mean, that's something that's normal for aquatic creatures to have, in the water, because the water is what's doing it. So that would be echolocation, everywhere, whether you're in the water or not. Okay.
Yep. Which would make him very hard to surprise.
Yes. That would do that. So what? He's a dragon.
So
Dragon from extreme range.
Oh yeah. What do we think? Well, for one, we gotta consider a supernatural ability for him. But I think for his breath, it's probably just a shadow breath. I think that's going to line up. As far as a mirror goes, which is how these guys are being presented currently. I should say umbral.
So he's just it's not just a flying aquatic dragon. He has connections to the shadow realm, whatever that might be.
He does.
That trait, yeah.
He does. I don't know. What do you guys, Randy, what do you think about these as far as either making the one on the right more unique, push him even further away from the light dragon? Like what do you think would be cool or interesting as far as like we could play around with armored hide? We could go away from night-blooded and do something else, but it's a pretty obvious flip of dawn-blooded. Like what cool thing would he do with his breath? Or what neat supernatural abilities does this shadow and cold aquatic dragon have?
Mute.
Maybe Do you have like a feign death ability where he could like put someone in a stasis where they appear to be dead, caught between worlds? The shadow realm? Could he send someone to a shadow realm?
Oh, like a banishing effect?
Yep.
Oh boy.
I mean, being the shadow guy. Or
I
could he-
think you could, but that's the kind of thing that results in more rules.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't want to do that then. I'm just trying to think unique. Long range radius for the next 100 creatures in the area. Well,
What about creating minions of shadow that attack
oh yeah,
characters?
or actual shadows. Could he summon them?
You mean the D&D monster shadow?
Yeah, or whatever you have the equivalent in Horde Wars.
We do, but probably we don't need dragons summoning people.
Okay,
I really hope that they have minions up front.
gotcha. Summoning's always tricky anyway.
Yeah, we've got a few of them, but depending on the nature of the summon, it can really go either way. So, well, let's focus on the armor first. Do we want to make his hide also different in some way compared to normal armored hide, which most dragons are rolling around with?
It's too much like the light one, but I was gonna shadowy.
I mean, nothing stops us from mirroring glittering hide. Like, that's okay.
Right.
It would just make these two an obvious pair. Like, oh, it's those two weird dragons.
Martinson suggested barnacle hide. I don't know. I was thinking like a cloying. I wonder if the shadow, if you get close to him, maybe his hide is such that the shadows can. But I'm probably creating new rules.
Yeah. We're talking about what his armor does to him, for protection.
No, yeah.
So if we're just talking about a similar effect that so the first attack misses or first attack is negated, but you can call it whatever.
What if we did? Stop scrolling on me. What if we did that? I don't know the name yet, but so normally armored hide is every round it absorbs the first hit.
Right.
Oh.
Glittering hide is every ranged attack gets absorbed, but otherwise it doesn't do anything. This one would just go, I absorbed everything round one, and after that it goes away.
Yes, it's more of an ablative type thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sounds cool.
That could mimic the idea of, along with the ice protecting him, it could be something, maybe the shadows disorient you the first round, or you attack the wrong part or don't get a good blow because you can't quite see.
Oops. Yep.
But I had to do blinding again because I already got that with the light guy.
Well, so are you suggesting that we call this some kind of shadow hide?
Yeah, that's where I was leaning toward. Shadow hide could work. Hide of shadows. Yeah, it could be that he's, yeah.
What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I'm fine with either ice or shadow. I mean, he's kind of a mixture of the two, right?
Yes.
He's got a cold based and kind of shadow based. Those things are often paired.
Well, maybe.
I don't know if you want to do. Well, go ahead. We're still on the hide, so
We are.
Look at Arnman's Look at Arnman's comment. It's not bad if we want to go that route. I don't know if you want to change him to electrical based or not.
Yeah, that's a more flavorful text there. Yeah, that works. Alphabetizing.
Yes. Not just for my own sanity, but it
Makes stuff easier to find.
Yeah, it's generally easier to find.
Yeah, Frostfell head. That's good.
So, yeah, I think I like that.
What if there is some sort of a link? So this guy is cold and shadow. So the first thing I think of is Cthulhu, and it's an amphibious creature, so it makes sense. So what if there? This might be extra rules, so stop me if you need to. There was an effect in a lot of the Cthulhu stories where you got affected by the aquatic dudes, you slowly turned into one of them. So what if there was some sort of, maybe not that bad, but maybe you got some kind of taint from a particular one of these guys' attacks. And I know I said taint on air, so sorry about that.
Oh, no.
No.
Whatever will we do? Well, one thing we could do. Let's see. One, I don't know if I want to put this on a dragon. It is pretty mean.
Go for it. That's the best thing to put on dragons or mean
You might
stuff.
want to read it
Mean.
first.
It's pretty nasty.
Let's see. Eldritch Horror. At the beginning of your turn, each adjacent opponent must succeed. Oh.
Yeah, so you're horrified. And that's not just the first round, that's every round.
Oh.
Every round.
Oh.
I have that on a Cthulhu monster, by the way.
Okay.
Which is what got me thinking about it.
Is he going to be a Cthulhuoid dragon?
Well, that would be interesting.
Yep.
So
It fits. The other parts kind of fit him into there. I mean, you don't have to do Cthulhu or Eldritch, whatever. Doesn't matter. You don't have to, but it is thematic.
what we could do instead is swap his roar. Because normally the roar makes you run away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure. Yeah, You can call it Eldritch Roar instead of Dragon's Roar.
And we switch it to senses.
I imagine there's not a lot of folks focusing on senses.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird spelling. Let me get
Eldritch.
Yeah.
Eldritch Roar. Not bad.
So that would be pretty terrifying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, is it a compulsion effect? Let me quick look. Because the terrible thing about the Deep One Occultist's ability, the Eldritch Horror ability, is it's not compulsion.
Oh.
As it's
It seems like it would be, but it's not. That's interesting.
Yes.
So someone with like one of my characters who has immunity to compulsion would be trying to count on that to negate anything like that happening. But,
Yep.
Oopsie.
Wow.
But we could say, if we want to keep the compulsion effect and just leave that as a unique problem for Eldritch Horror,
Mm-hmm.
We could instead swap the name so it's less obvious where it's coming from. and do something like.
Do you not want to use Umbral Roar? No. Freezing Roar? Okay.
I mean, it's what it does.
Right.
You freeze in fear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. What do you think, Joe?
Freezing Roar. Oh, instead of Eldritch.
Yeah,
I think
to make
that's
it.
good. Yeah.
And
You freeze
then
from
it remains a compulsion.
Correct.
That's not
Okay.
bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's still really hard.
Yeah.
A DC 14 census check. I mean, you might as well just say you fail your save automatically.
Pretty.
No, I'm not.
Pretty close.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what 12th level characters look like yet. So that sounds really, really, really hard.
It
Yeah.
is.
I mean,
do
you
remember
can get 14s and stuff normally, but it's
Do you
very
remember-
rare.
a 12 is an automatic success, a natural 12.
Yes. Is it still an automatic success for this?
Yeah. So
Oh,
any
okay.
character has an 8 and like 2/3% chance of making it.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you happen to have decent senses, like if you've got a +3 to a +6 range,
Mm-hmm.
then you can also succeed on other numbers.
Right.
Right. Well, my Durkon character has a decent. I think his census is +3.
Wow.
Yeah. So you'd succeed on an 11 or a 12.
Right.
So, yeah. Do you like that? Swapping that?
I do. I think that's probably better.
Okay. So, get rid of this. And then over here. All right. So, Randy, you were talking about supernatural abilities and like debuffs.
Mm-hmm.
So let's quick glance through what breath we do have. So we've got this one where she splits her breath. We got this one where he does extra dice. Actually, this might be pretty nice.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she's absorbing. He or she is absorbing your moisture. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to keep even the name necessarily, but the effect. If we do... If we did the affliction thing,
Mm-hmm.
not only is that making it really hard for you to resist the roar, because now you can't nat 12.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
It is constantly weakening your ability to hit him at all.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's rough. That's a hardcore. That's affliction. We haven't seen lots of that in the basic game. It's there, or I've not experienced lots of affliction. So, but it sucks when you get it.
Yeah, I think our warlock has an ability that lets you get like a D4 levels.
Woo.
Like you do not want to be his target and
No,
also fail.
No, that's tough.
I've run into it playing quite a bit.
Oh, have you?
It's not a lot of levels, and then if you push yourself while you're out adventuring too hard, trying to stay out, then you get it too.
The one I remember the most is when Patty got it. He got screwed, dude.
So, but do you guys like this on this dragon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I mean, you could go either way. Let's say you have the desiccating where the creature is absorbing moisture because, well, it's an aquatic creature and loves the moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be overloading you with moisture to try to like burst you, blow you up. So either way would work. But desiccating, yeah. Suck you dry.
And then combining this with the roar, I think that works. Now, the supernatural ability.
Mm-hmm.
So, Volcanic Ash is the one that is on actual Dargoth Kingsbane.
Right.
Just read it and see if you follow the power level, because this directly relates to Affliction, by the way.
Yeah, it does. You start suffocating and drowning.
Oh, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, we can easily modify this specific thing to the umbral creature where it fills the target area with water, and you can't, and you're drowning and suffocating. And if she has or he has already afflicted you, oopsie.
What if he produces a thick, cloying, black, cloudy mist, almost like a squid, that starts to fill your nostrils and your pores, and you could have a very similar effect.
Now, he can see in mist, right? He's got echolocation.
Yes.
Right. So it won't hurt him at all.
So maybe what we should do, let me quick find who's got it. Whiteout. This is really close to the text we would want.
That's not bad.
Right?
Yeah.
So he could just be like, you can't see except immediately next to you. Because if he just turns off the light, that's not powerful enough. The second you have a torch, it doesn't do anything.
Right.
Mist, though. Mist could be pretty rough. And so this is Winter Gale. And if we go up a size, he goes medium with his Dust Bowl, which is very similar. Like this. This is long. So this should probably be a long range radius.
Okay.
And
blackout instead of whiteout.
Thick black mist.
Yep.
Covers a long range radius for the next minute. Vision is reduced to adjacent only.
Wow, yeah, that's deadly. Umbral mist, sure.
Well, if you've got a better word for shadow, we really just need a synonym.
No, that works. I think that works.
I do
just
too.
Fine.
I like it.
Okay.
Oh.
Seem fun? Because now we've got we have a dragon who's behaving quite differently.
Yep.
And each of these things together kind of is what makes him function.
Yep.
Any one of them alone, it's not very interesting. I think the main thing that I would want to change so far of what we've done is maybe for these two, instead of the Dawn and Night-Blooded, I think doing a behaviorally based one still.
Okay.
Now, I imagine
anyone trying to sneak up on if you're using like a sneak or shadow based ability,
yeah,
she can tag on that or he can tag on that.
Yeah, dude's gonna hear you.
Yeah.
No, I don't mean just hear you. I mean, if you're using, like, let's say you're fighting the Umbral dude, but you are also Umbral based, and you're using abilities like that, especially if they're some kind of innate, like, protection ability. You know.
Oh yeah.
And she can hook onto that and smack you around or whatever. Extra die damage against Umbral creatures or something.
Well, for that, I think that works, but we can just do the broader version of that, which is oh, come on, brain. I think it's Frenzy. Is it Frenzy? No, that's probably the shark ability. Blood Rage. That sounds right.
So if Durkan's fighting her, which he wouldn't do because he's a smart guy. He wants to shadow stalk. If he uses shadow stalk, and she's like, "Oh no, come here."
No one stalks me and lives.
So
not only does your sneaking not work, you get an extra die.
Is the shadow one hungry for your blood? Because I think he probably is.
Probably. I believe Thomas in the chat suggested vampire blood drain.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know what Phantasmal is, but that sounds good if it makes it harder on the player characters.
Phantasmal's like illusion.
Oh.
That's another. It probably has other synonyms.
So, yeah, that makes sense. Phantasmal would make sense for that. What if we did? Let me go here, but what if we did frenzy?
Okay.
So, like a shark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're bleeding, it's like
you're bleeding.
Hey.
I see.
He is especially good at hurting you.
Sounds good.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Wow. He already does 3 or 4 dice of damage, doesn't he, on a hit?
Yeah, 4d10 here, 3d8 here,
Oof.
and then 8d8 here.
Yikes.
8 dice.
Yes.
Talk about ouch time.
Ouch time.
Yeah. But, you got to have some upper level threats.
Yes, you do.
Oh, sure.
Which is what we're working on. Then same deal with the light guy. I think we should do something like this. Okay. I kind of liked the movement one. How would you feel about that, Randy? Because basically it kind of rewards them for using phase shift to outmaneuver the party.
Oh, sure. If it benefits him to move, it's good. That's because that should be his shtick. He's a dodge and weave guy.
Now, it would be really funny to do some other ones. Like Nate and I have come up with a few of these, but I think if we go with trample here,
mm-hmm.
we're encouraging the light dragon to one fight in lines, which
mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Right.
And two, we're encouraging the light dragon to use his abilities to create those lines so he does extra damage. Like if he uses his 2 actions and one of his actions in movement to phase shift and move just to set up a trampling solar breath, it's probably worth it. The party probably doesn't have any protection from solar at all.
Right. And if you set them up in some sort of honeycombed atmosphere,
yeah,
and separate the party, which is always what the DM wants to do, that would work really well.
As
best way to kill player characters, yeah.
Let's see here if we can get this merge those. Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that I had done that. So that aligns. And apparently I used some of the margin over here. So let's just do that. There we go. And then we can make this. Transparent. There. So now we've got these 2, I think, similar but very different dragons in terms of how they want to fight.
Right.
Now we have to think about their core statistics.
Mm-hmm.
So the dragons in general have a pretty set advancement so that a game master can design their own pretty easily by doing a little of what we were doing, but just doing like straight swaps. And they can reference the other, counting these, they can reference 10 dragons like to help them design their own. at essentially 3 different aging categories.
Okay.
But we can play with statistics if there's a good reason. For example, guy on the right should swim.
Yeah.
Um,
Is it particularly bad for the guy on the left, the light guy, to have reflexes +5? Is he losing too much with the other ones, dropping a willpower, dropping the senses or something? Or
I mean, I think we could totally move one. We shouldn't move fitness. That would be weird.
yeah, because you got a pretty buff dragon, sure.
Yeah. But it would be funny if the light guy has like terrible senses.
That'd be weird. Willpower could be it because he may not want to stick around in a fight. He might have the best willpower.
Yeah, what do you think, Joe?
Yeah, there's an argument to be made to switch over willpower, especially if we're talking about we're only wanting to take that block of 5 points and not split it up. So, yeah, it's you're not going to put +5 reflexes there in addition to everything. You're
No, it'd be moving it around. Another thing, though, that we could do, the dragons generally have a set progression for their base skills, is we could have these 2 dragons lean into a skill. So, for example, they could, instead of having a +8 athletics, have a 6 there and have their 8 somewhere else.
Oh, I see.
Right. So you could have 8 on investigate for the light dragon, since it is able to see everything.
Right.
And if you take off the senses part, you can still figure out who's around it. Especially since his light just reveals everything. So it's not a huge deal for him for his senses to move.
And what I think would be funny on the echolocation guy, since he just knows once you get in range, unless you succeed on a check. So he doesn't usually have to investigate. I think it'd be interesting to give him stealth instead.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Especially with his ability to make the mist, so now he can sneak around in it.
Yep.
What do you think about going like this? 6 athletics, 8 stealth, making him just insane.
I think that's good, actually.
That makes sense.
He should be. Yep.
And do you like that? What Joe suggested as far as the investigate goes?
Yeah, I kind of do. I think that's not bad.
Because the skills are him interacting with the world, and the attribute points are really saving throws. They're him reacting to it.
Right.
And we're thinking about how that works. I don't actually mind if this guy loses turn order terribly, unless you think he really needs to win it.
Just my concept of him, he should be very hard. He should be very competitive in terms of going first.
Well, he would be doing it this way.
Which way?
Knowing people are coming up and then
knowing when people are coming up with investigate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So he wouldn't be trying to roll to win turn order. He'd be trying to have a surprise round.
I see. Yes. Of course.
By going, I spotted you before you got anywhere near me.
Right.
Now, another option, if you liked it better, is we could do intuition. But I think
that's what I was going to suggest
with the light.
Well, if he had both, it'd be really hard to fool and sneak up on at the same time, I would think.
Correct.
Survival, well, he's a big dragon. He doesn't need to worry about food. You can go get it whenever he wants.
But he is a big dragon. He survived a long time.
Yeah. Well, survival, among other things, is like his ability to track and hunt. And he probably is good at that too.
Yes.
But now the question becomes, what do we name these guys? So each of our dragons is uniquely named.
Yes.
I
have kind of a name for I'm playing off the word celerity. I don't know how you feel about Celeros or Caleros. how you might pronounce it. Like celerity, but that might look like celery to people instead of celerity. So
Especially Arnie, who is a big fan of celery.
Yes.
I have heard a half-hour speech from that man. At least 15 minutes.
On
Half-hour
celery?
might be exaggerating.
Celery is one of the most almost worthless foods ever.
He correctly pointed out that there used to be a ton of more varieties, and it was used in a lot more foods in the past.
Oh, sure. But the way factory farming works, yeah, I get that.
Yeah. What about you're liking celerity or something like light based?
Mm-hmm.
What about well, let me look at our design constraints. Our design constraints, ideally, are we either want to put both of them before the letter D in the alphabet, or both of them between D and U. I think that second one's going to be easier.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, so you don't have to move a bunch of stuff around.
Correct.
That you've already designed for. Gotcha.
Yep. So we can move it by page instead of otherwise. So I think we could do something with what you suggested, Randy, but what is another word for it?
Yeah. I just looked up another alacrity, briskness, dispatch, expedition, fleetness, haste, hustle, legerity. I don't know what that is. Never heard of that.
Like Ledgermane?
I guess legerity, rapidity, velocity, vivacity.
Or we can just come up with a name that has nothing to do with his abilities.
Yeah.
And just.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on the Swift part because that sounds a little weird, but all we'd have to do is mess with his speeds to make his name believable.
Skargoth the Swift. It's definitely it follows the theme with Dargoth. That's not bad.
Yep, it would have a very similar sounding name,
Mm-hmm.
but we could also go. This might be better for the other guy, actually.
I was getting ready to follow the goth approach and calling him Grimgoth. Grimgoth Lightbane.
That's really leaning into the goth.
That's very leaning into it, yeah. Yeah, Scarmag sounds good for the other guy. It's more, yeah.
Like you suggested,
Nightbane the Black.
It doesn't really fit the theme.
No, Lightbane, isn't he's the Bane of Light?
Yep.
With his Umbral Mist.
Yeah, exactly. Lightbane. The way he twists around and moves like a gold dragon, he could be like a Spiral, a name of a video game character.
It is.
Okay,
it's
that's
a
not
name of video game dragon, actually.
Okay.
Vortex.
The celery talk was the only talk I gave in the basement where nobody interrupted. Not sure why.
Because they were probably shocked that anybody had anything more to say about celery than
he's a big fan of celery. That's crazy talk. Let's see another name for the about
for the light one.
Mm-hmm.
So Kingsbane and Lightbane, I think that's enough Bane names. But yes, Kingsbane, in his case, actually ate a king, and there's a whole knightly order named after the dudes who died trying to defend that king.
Oh.
So his name is directly related to a thing he did. Lightbane is related to what he actually, actively does.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is fine.
The Revealer, whatever the first name, the Revealer.
Mm-hmm.
So he always reveals things. That's probably a little hokey.
Okay, yeah, those both work. Let's see the light guy.
How about I'm putting something in private chat here.
Okay.
First name, and then you can come up with some.
Ooh. Yeah, that could be cool.
Some light bringer or
Yeah.
solar champion or whatever.
Yeah. And as far as engagement goes, just for the people watching, you can do this kind of thing in any game.
Yep.
Any good game master should know how to do this sort of thing where you're taking existing content in a game and generating new villains, NPCs, and that sort of thing. And I don't see it demonstrated very often.
No. I agree. I just wonder if our folks are enjoying. Well, they can tell us afterwards whether they.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we're gonna do the ask at the end and ask for comments.
Yeah. So I think I like the name. How do you feel about the spelling, Randy?
Are we talking about the light one?
In the private chat.
Yes, I
no
saw
suggestion.
that. I saw it. That's when I look at it, it looks like it's tough to pronunciate.
What if we cut out the Y and the S?
That would be quicker. Yes. Yep. That's much quicker. Still a good name though, either way.
Yeah. Google wants to help us. What if we?
DYR.
Do you like the YR or the IR?
I like the YR.
Okay.
I kind of like the name because it had the Y right in the middle of it. But yeah.
Yeah.
DYR. Yeah, that sounds good.
Now we could do Nofdir Night, the Nightbringer, but if we wanted to go with that kind of alliteration, but Nofdir I like, and what are we gonna say about him?
I'm trying. I feel like we should do something with his brilliance.
Oh, that's good. The Radiant. That works.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I like that. Cool.
Yeah, I think that'll work pretty well. All right, so we Nofdir the Radiant, Scarmag the Lightbane. Do we like that, Ben?
I like him. Yeah.
Okay. And we just do this. And do some unhighlighting.
That's not a bad one either. Scarmag the Shadow Stalker.
Lots of alliteration on that thing.
Yes.
Ooh. Scarmag the Shadow Stalker.
That's not bad at all. Well done.
That's
Thomas.
probably better, actually.
It probably is, yeah. Steal that name. Thomas thought of it. Now he lost it. Good name.
What do you think, Tom?
Well done, sir.
I like it. Yeah. I think that could be cool. Anyone else in the chat? Any thoughts on that name? And I suppose we could cut the.
Yeah.
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 Scarmag Shadowstalker or
that's not bad.
Nofdir the Radiant. I think that's pretty cool.
Yep. Those are good.
And so what we essentially just did in about really an hour and 20, because we spent about 10 minutes screwing around, is we made 2 quite high-level monsters for Horde Wars. And this is demonstrating also how to do it in basically any other game. You do the same, you can do the exact same thing. And now, if you want a more, and this isn't a game design thing so much as a DM end, but on the DM end, if you want to make very quickly a more powerful boss monster, what you can do is something called layering, where you essentially take 2 monsters, you stick them together, and you give it the movement abilities of one monster, but you give it the action choices of both, and you give it the number of actions of both. So let's pretend in D&D you took 2 orcs and you stuck them together that way to make a boss orc. That orc would have 2 actions.
Gotcha.
Orc 1 and Orc 2. Now you don't tell your players this is really 2 orcs in a skin suit. You just go, yep, this is Garl the orc champion.
That's how he do.
That's how he rolls. But you can also do it with things that aren't the same. You could, for example, take again using D&D as an example, you could take their sample wizard from the monster manual, and you could layer that with a goblin, and suddenly you have a goblin wizard.
Right. Yep.
And one who's actually powerful because he has 2 actions around.
Right. Oh, you mean the Archmage from 5?
Yeah. The Archmage.
Yeah. He's tough. He's a tough hombre.
And so that method can be used in pretty much any game that provides you with a reasonable number of stat blocks. And the other key rule when you do that is no one attack or damage source can deal more damage to the monster than one of its sets of hit points. So, for example, if you layered a goblin and an archmage, and a blow landed that would kill the goblin stat block, and have some extra damage, you just apply the damage that would kill the goblin stat block, and every round after that, he's now limited to only the archmage side. So it actually shows a boss monster getting weaker as they're damaged.
Yeah.
And it does it mechanically.
That's one of the drawbacks to games I've always thought that don't give you very many monsters to go with because you're not sure how to even build monsters. Not that you can't just wing it sometimes. Sure you can, but it's frustrating when you only have 3 or 4 monsters to work from. I know when Joe ran that game at Cabin Con for Rifts, he was a little disappointed. Whatever Rifts book he had didn't have a lot of monsters in it.
The main
book. That can be a little frustrating.
It might have some, but they're scattered and it's hard to find.
And that's the great thing about Horde Wars. I mean, you guys have plenty of monsters in this book. I mean, you could easily see how to build a few things.
Yeah, and you're getting about double the number with
advanced. That's exciting. I can't wait for that. That's cool.
And so, we were working on writing the last bits of the setting chapter, and it occurred to us that we really wanted to have another dragon.
Right.
As we were doing that, I'm like, you know what? I was going to do game design with Randy and Joe tonight anyway.
Yeah.
Let's make some dragons.
Cool. That was fun. Well, look, I can't stay much longer. So I mean, I have, you guys don't have to wrap it up, but I think I got to go here pretty soon.
Oh, sure.
It's probably time for me to go too. So
okay.
Sure. It's
now
that was really cool.
We finished the 2. We finished the 2, so we did a good block of work here.
We did. And what I would like to do is, if we're gonna double the number, double the pleasure. Thank you, Larry. I assume you've just finished up your event. So what I'd like to do, if we're going to end the stream now, that's totally fine, is spend a couple of minutes checking in with you guys about those other matters very briefly.
Sure.
And in particular about Big Geek Con, because Nate and I are excited about that, and I want to make sure all of our ducks are in a row.
Okay.
So before we quit, but before we leave.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Do you guys have anything else, though, to say as far as our viewers? It looks like I actually can't see the total viewer count, but based on the comments, half a dozen or more are commenting.
Yeah, there are. According to we have a little eyeball thing on our display here in StreamYard, and it says 6, but it's not usually all that accurate.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah. And for those of you who are watching, definitely encourage other people to check this out if they've never built their own monsters or if they're newer game masters. This is a kind of procedural way to do that, what we just showed you.
Right. Very much so.
Right. And one of the things that we demonstrated, or DM Blackwall demonstrated a lot, is describing constraints. So instead of telling yourself that you can do anything with your monster, so you can slap all kinds of nonsense on there, he has some built-in constraints.
Guilty.
And I mean, at your table as a DM, do whatever.
Right.
But he he's demonstrating that with a product that he's making, he has a lot of constraints, space. Once you've designed a bit, you have to decide once you make something else where it fits in what you've already designed physically.
Oh, absolutely.
In the layout. So we got some good information here for anybody to glom onto.
And we've said before, constraints actually add to creativity.
Yeah.
Rather than just anything goes. And like I was saying a lot of things, I just don't know the game well enough to find something. It was fun to bounce ideas like, oh, what if he could do this? And DM Blackwall be like, well, we have a power that's kind of like this. But your skillfulness in this particular game and your knowledge of the game helps out. The more you play, the better you get, the better you'll be at building monsters. So
Yeah, well, I think probably any of us could do that with like 3rd edition.
Oh, yeah, played the living crap out of that. That's easy enough.
Yeah. And so it's the same idea, and you're just like I said, this applies to almost any RPG.
Oh, I think so.
Other than Traveler, and just like build yourself a monster manual, or if they sell one at some point, buy one, because it is awful. They literally have 4 stat blocks for the game.
Oh no!
And there's a lot of Traveler material apart from that. I mean, there's a ton.
There is, but you have to like buy a separate book. It's not in the core book.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It would have been nice.
Yes, and they're like, well, no, you can just like roll it as you go, and I'm like, no, that sounds terrible.
Right, because a lot of times when we throw down dice in the evening, we just want to get down and play. We have X amount of mental energy, and a lot of that needs to just go to enjoyment, not in creating on the fly.
Yes, Larry, it is like a marriage, and it is until death do they part. You are quite correct.
Oh, that's funny, Larry.
All right, so we probably should sign off here. Thank you for everyone who showed up and participated in the chat. Encourage your friends to come and check this episode out for the Horde Wars content and for the DM and game design advice. Let us know if you think it's engaging or interesting, however you want to put it in the comments after the fact. That would be great. Is there anything else either of you two want to say before I hit the end stream button?
I mean, not really, other than, you're welcome to buy Horde Wars.
Oh, yeah.
On Big Geek Emporium. You're welcome to buy it on Drive-Thru-RPG. You're welcome to email us, hordewars@blackwallgames.com to with your address for a quote for a physical copy. It's $25 plus shipping, generally in the U.S., unless you are wealthy and don't mind paying the hilarious shipping costs of international shipping.
International shipping is very expensive. So you still have the ring binding and the soft cover binding?
Nope, we're down to just soft cover right now, and we're looking at doing another print run in the next month or two.
No more of these juicy guys. This is awesome.
No, Randy, that was a special giveaway, as you recall.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So which do you prefer, Todd, as far as binding?
I prefer the soft cover in that it stores in a smaller amount of space. And it's just as referenceable, but I do like the spiral bound because it can lay flat and because you can flip it, you can bend it back on itself.
Yes, I was going to say the spiral one's pretty sweet.
Right. Okay,
so
that is all cool.
Yeah. But that was
all right,
it.
So we are, all right. So we're going to sign off. You guys have a good evening.
Adios, guys.
Take it easy.